One morning, I was sitting at the kitchen table, sipping my coffee, going through my bank statements. And it hit me. I was overpaying. Quietly, month after month, on things that should have gotten cheaper or gone away after I turned 65. The worst part? I didn't even notice it happening. If you're over 65, you've probably earned every dime you have, and you deserve to keep more of it. That's why today, I want to walk you through 7 common bills that should shrink or disappear once you reach this chapter of life. These aren't tricks. They're real practical changes that made a difference for me, and I believe they can for you too. Let's sit down together and take a closer look. You might be surprised at how much you can save without giving up the things you enjoy. 1. Car insurance. Back when I was younger, I used to believe that the older you get, the less you'd pay for car insurance. Made sense to me. I figured, well, I drive slower now, I do not rush anywhere, and I sure do not take risks on the road like I did when I was 30. I do not drive at night much anymore. I do not commute to work. And let's be honest, I have not gotten a speeding ticket in over 15 years. So one day, I finally asked myself, why is my premium still so high? I remember calling my insurance company just to check, not to cancel, not to complain, just to ask. And you know what the lady on the other end told me? She said, "Sir, you've been a loyal customer for over 20 years, but we do not automatically adjust for age or driving habits. You need to call in and ask." That stopped me in my tracks. So I started shopping around. I looked at 3 other insurance companies and got quotes from each one. One of them offered a mature driver discount. Another had something called a low mileage discount, since I drive fewer than 6,000 miles a year now. That one alone knocked off over $200 from my annual premium. I ended up switching providers. And between the safe driver discount, the senior plan, and my limited driving schedule, I saved just over $600 per year. That is $50 a month. Not life-changing, but enough to cover groceries, gas, or even a night out now and then. Here's the thing I learned. Many insurance companies are not going to lower your rates unless you speak up. They count on people like us not calling, not asking questions, just quietly paying the same bill year after year. And over time, that adds up. So here's what I suggest. Take 15 minutes today or this week and review your current car insurance policy. Call them. Ask what discounts are available for people over 65. Mention your clean driving record if you have one. Ask about mileage. And if they do not offer you a better deal, shop around. There are plenty of companies that actually want your business and respect your years on the road. You have been driving safely for decades. You should not be paying like a new driver. You have earned better. And if you do this one small thing, you might just find yourself with a few extra $100 in your pocket this year. That, to me, is money well saved. 2. Cell phone plan. My granddaughter, Emily, is 17. She can do more on her phone in 5 minutes than I can figure out in an entire afternoon. And a while back, she asked me something that made me laugh, and then made me think. She said, "Grandpa, why are you paying for unlimited everything when you only call 3 people and barely text?" She was right. Back then, I was still on the same family plan I had joined when my wife and I first got smartphones. It had unlimited talk, text, and data. Problem is, I do not use data. I do not stream movies on my phone. I do not play games or check social media. I use my phone to call my daughter, my neighbor Tom, and the doctor's office. That is it. So, Emily sat down with me and looked through my bill. It was nearly $80 a month. $80 for a phone I barely touch outside of calls. She showed me a few options, plans that are built specifically for seniors. These plans usually offer limited talk and text, no data or low data, and cost around $20 to $25 a month. Some are even cheaper if you qualify for certain government programs or are on Medicare. At first, I hesitated. I thought switching would be a hassle. I worried about losing my number or about the phone not working the same way. But the truth is, the process was simple. I kept my number, I kept my phone, and the bill dropped by over $50 a month. That is $600 a year. Again, not enough to buy a new car, but enough to give you breathing room. Enough to go out for breakfast a few more times. Enough to buy your grandkids something nice for the holidays. Enough to feel just a little more free. What I realized is this. We often keep paying for things out of habit. We assume it is too complicated to change. We tell ourselves, I will deal with it later. But that later rarely comes unless we make it come. So here is my advice. If you are still on a big wireless plan, take another look. Call your provider. Ask if they offer senior plans, or ask someone in your family to help you compare prices online. There is no shame in needing help. Believe me, I asked Emily about 3 times how to turn my speaker back on. Do not keep paying for features you do not need. Your phone should work for you, not drain your wallet each month. Simplifying my cell plan was one of the easiest changes I made, and it made a big difference over time. 3. Cable and streaming services. I will admit something to you. For the longest time, I kept my cable package because it felt familiar. My wife and I used to watch the same shows every evening. Channel 36 at 7 o'clock sharp. You could count on it. After she passed, I kept paying for the same bundle. Hundreds of channels. Sports I never watched. Kids shows I had no use for. Premium movie packages I never clicked on. It became part of the routine. I did not even question it. Then one day, I looked at my bill. It was over $150. $150. To mostly watch 1 or 2 shows a night, I was paying for 5 different streaming platforms too. Netflix, Hulu, Prime Video, something with a plus sign in the name. I could not even remember signing up for all of them. I had to ask myself, who is this all really for? So I did something I had not done in years. I called the cable company. I asked them to break down the charges. It turned out I was paying rental fees for boxes I had not used in 2 years. I was subscribed to a regional sports network, even though I had not followed a game since the early 2000s. I asked about downgrading, and they offered me a senior rate that cut the bill nearly in half. Then I looked at the streaming subscriptions. I made a list of what I actually watch. For me, that was 1 or 2 old detective shows and a documentary here and there. I canceled everything but one service. The rest? Gone. After a couple of phone calls and a little cleanup, I went from paying over $200 a month for entertainment to just under $40. That is over $1,900 a year back in my pocket. The funny thing is, I do not miss a single channel. Not one. Sometimes we keep paying for things, not because we use them, but because we are used to them. There is a difference. Comfort has a cost, but peace of mind, that is priceless. If you have not checked your cable or streaming bills lately, now is the time. Ask yourself, what am I really watching? What am I actually using? Is there a senior discount they have not told me about? Many companies do not advertise these plans, but they are there if you ask. You do not have to cut everything. You just have to cut what no longer fits your life. Entertainment should feel good, not feel like another burden. 4. Property taxes. When I bought this house in the 1970s, my mortgage was under $400 a month. Now, even though the house is paid off, the property taxes are more than that. Every year, they go up just a little more. And for a while, I thought there was nothing I could do about it. I figured, well, taxes are taxes. They are just part of life, right? That is what I thought, until a friend from church, Linda, told me about something I had never looked into. It is called a senior property tax exemption. Depending on the state you live in, you might be able to reduce your property tax bill. Sometimes by a few $100s, sometimes by a lot more. Just because you are over a certain age and live on a fixed income. At first, I was skeptical. I thought it would be complicated with a ton of paperwork. But it was not. I went to my county website, clicked on tax assessor or homestead exemption, and there it was. Clear as day, seniors over 65 with a primary residence could apply for a reduction in assessed property value. Some counties even freeze the tax rate once you qualify, so it does not keep going up every year. It took me about 20 minutes to fill out the form. I had to show proof of age, residency, and income. Nothing fancy. A few weeks later, I got a letter in the mail saying my taxes would be reduced by nearly $800 that year. $800 for filling out a single form. Now, it is important to know that every state is different. Some places offer percentage discounts, others offer flat rate reductions. Some have income caps. But the point is, if you do not ask, you will never know what you might be missing. We worked hard our whole lives to own our homes. We should not be taxed out of them in retirement. You deserve to enjoy the place you built, not feel like you are renting it back from the government. So, here is my advice. Call your local tax assessor's office or ask a family member to help you look online. Search for senior property tax exemptions or a homestead exemption for seniors in your state, and do it soon. Many counties have deadlines that come up early in the year. This is not about asking for a handout. It is about claiming what you have earned. After a lifetime of paying in, you deserve to pay a little less now. 5. Gym memberships and wellness programs. I never thought I'd say this at 70. But I go to the gym now. Not the kind of gym with loud music, flashing screens, or folks lifting twice their body weight. No, this one's quiet. There's a walking track, a few weight machines, and a group of folks who look just like me. Gray hair, sore knees, and stories to tell. It started with a brochure I almost threw away. I got it in the mail. It said something about silver sneakers, a fitness benefit included in many Medicare Advantage plans. At first, I thought it was a scam. Free gym access? Sounded too good to be true. But curiosity got the better of me. I called the number. A kind voice walked me through it. Turns out, a lot of Medicare Advantage and even some supplement plans offer free or deeply discounted memberships to local fitness centers. Not just fancy gyms, community centers, YMCAs, even senior-only wellness programs. So I signed up, took my first class, chair yoga. I'll admit, I laughed when I read the name. But let me tell you, 20 minutes in, my back felt better than it had in months. A week later, I joined a balance and stretching group, then water aerobics. I never imagined myself in a pool surrounded by foam noodles, but I was smiling the whole time. And here's the best part. I did not pay a dime for any of it. Before that, I was spending over $50 a month on a membership I never used. I told myself I'd go, but the place was loud and crowded. It was made for people in their 20s, not folks with hip replacements. That monthly fee just kept showing up on my statement. Another forgotten expense. Now, not only am I saving money, I am feeling better. I sleep better. I move easier. I laugh more. And I'm not the only one. There's a group of us who meet every Tuesday morning for coffee after our class. We share tips, check in on each other, and remind ourselves that taking care of our bodies is still worth the effort, no matter how old we get. So, here's my message to you. If you're paying for a gym you do not use, stop. Call your insurance provider and ask if your plan includes any wellness benefits. Ask about programs like Silver Sneakers or Silver and Fit. Some even offer online classes if you prefer to stay home. And if you are not the gym type, that is okay. Many of these programs include Tai Chi, walking clubs, and low-impact classes that do not feel like exercise. They just feel like living better. You've spent your life working hard. Your body has carried you through it all. Now's the time to give it some care, without spending a fortune. Saving $50 a month might sound small, but when it comes with a stronger back, better sleep, and a few new friends, that, to me, is priceless. 6. Prescription medications. For years, I just went along with it. The doctor would send my prescriptions straight to the pharmacy, and I would pick them up without asking questions. High blood pressure? Pick it up. Cholesterol? Pick it up. Some days I felt like the pharmacist knew more about my life than my neighbors did, and every month the bill would come out to $80, $90, sometimes over $100. I thought, well, that's just how it is when you get older. More pills, more problems, and more money out of your pocket. But one afternoon, my buddy Tom, Vietnam vet like me, and I were having coffee after church. I mentioned I was thinking about skipping one of my meds to save some cash. He looked at me and said, "Joe, are you using GoodRx?" I had no idea what he was talking about. GoodRx sounded like the name of a new radio station. He pulled out his phone and showed me. Turns out, GoodRx is a discount card, free to use, that lets you compare medication prices at pharmacies near you. Sometimes, it's cheaper than what Medicare Part D will cover. I typed in the name of my prescription while sitting at that little diner booth, and sure enough, it showed the same pill for half the price just down the street. The next day, I printed out the coupon, walked into that pharmacy, and walked out paying $26 instead of $78. Same medicine, same dosage, just a different price. That was the day I realized how much money I had been wasting, simply because I didn't know better. Since then, I've also learned about the Extra Help program through Social Security. If your income is limited, you might qualify for help with Medicare prescription drug costs, and I mean real help. Reduced premiums, lower copays, and no donut hole. And do not forget to ask your doctor about generics. So many of us just take the brand name medication out of habit. But often, there's a generic version that works the same and costs a fraction of the price. Doctors do not always bring it up, but they usually have no problem writing the prescription if you ask. I've even had neighbors who order their prescriptions in a 90-day supply instead of 30, which can save a decent amount over time. It may take a little more planning, but when you are on a fixed income, every dollar counts. I know it's not easy to talk about money when it comes to your health. You do not want to cut corners. You want to stay safe. But being smart about your prescriptions is not cutting corners. It is just being aware. And sometimes, awareness is the best medicine. So here's what I recommend. Take a list of your current prescriptions and sit down with someone you trust. Look up each one. See if there's a cheaper option. Ask your pharmacist what they've seen other folks do. You'd be surprised how many people are quietly overpaying, just like I was. We all want to stay well, but we do not have to go broke to do it. Subscriptions you forgot you had. You ever look at your bank statement and think, what in the world is this charge for $12.99? That was me. Last spring. It happened on a Sunday afternoon. I was doing a little financial spring cleaning, going through my online banking, trying to figure out where the money was going. That's when I saw it. Recurring charge, Media Play Premium, $12.99. No idea what it was? A few lines down, another one. Bookstream Monthly, $9.99. And then another. By the time I finished scanning that statement, I counted 7 subscriptions I didn't remember signing up for, or hadn't used in months. A wine club I hadn't touched since before my wife passed, a cooking app I tried once, even a digital newspaper I forgot to cancel after the free trial ended. Altogether, they were draining almost $70 a month from my account. That's over $800 a year. For things I wasn't even using. It's easy to see how it happens. These days, everything's on autopay. You sign up for a free trial, you forget the end date. Or you subscribe to something because your grandkid needed a game, and months later, it's still charging you. But here's the truth. Once I canceled them, I didn't miss a single one. I kept the one subscription I actually used, a streaming service where I watch old westerns. The rest? Gone. Cleaned up. And you know what else got clearer? My mind. Fewer charges to track, less financial clutter, more control. If you're like me, you probably hate dealing with passwords and websites. Canceling things can feel like a chore. But there are easy ways to get a handle on it. Start by printing out your last 2 or 3 bank or credit card statements. Circle every subscription charge you don't recognize right away. If it doesn't spark a memory or a sense of, oh yes, I use that, look it up. Most of these companies have cancellation options right on their website. If not, call the number listed next to the charge. Yes, it may take a little patience, but remember, every $10 charge you cancel is $120 saved over the year. There are also apps that can help track subscriptions, but honestly, just going through your statements with a pen and a cup of coffee works just fine. Here's a simple rule I go by now. If I don't use it at least twice a month, it goes. We do not need to live smaller, but we can live simpler. At this stage in life, simplicity is not about missing out. It is about making space for what matters. And I have found that when I stop spending on what I do not need, I suddenly have more for the things I truly value, like a good breakfast with a friend, a birthday gift for my great-grandson, or just peace of mind knowing I am in control of my money. So go ahead, check those statements, trim the fat. Keep the things you love and let the rest go. So now you've heard my 7 bills that I used to pay without thinking, 7 ways my money was slipping away, slowly, quietly, while I just kept going through the motions. But the truth is, things changed when I stopped and started looking. Not just at my bank statements, but at how I was living, where my money was going, what still made sense, and what no longer did. And that's what I want to encourage you to do too. You do not need to tackle everything in one day. You do not need to become some financial wizard. All you need to do is take one small step. Pick one of the 7 things we talked about today. Just one. Maybe it's your cable bill or your car insurance. Maybe you're sitting on a gym membership you forgot about. Or you're curious whether you qualify for a senior property tax exemption. Whatever it is, start there. Make one phone call, ask one question, cancel one thing, or print out one form. You'd be amazed how even a single change can lift a little weight off your shoulders. It's not just about the money, though that helps. It's about taking back a little control. And that feeling is worth a lot more than a few saved dollars. And if something in this video helped you today, pass it along. Send it to a friend, a neighbor, someone at your church or your coffee group. We're all navigating this new season of life, and no one should have to figure it out alone. You've worked too hard for too long to let your money slip through the cracks now. You deserve to feel steady. You deserve to feel secure. So, let's take that first step together.